Man, Shabuzi, man. All I know is Boosie. That's what I know.
Shabuzi. Look,
Oh
what you
man,
don't know nothing about
man.
is starting his timer.
Hey man, I got a lot on my plate,
Come
man.
on,
I'm getting better.
dog.
I'm getting better. Come on, dog.
Come on, man. Come on, dog. But yeah, man. Like if you look at Shabuzi early stuff, it's like it's raps. Like I'm like, who is this Shabuzi dude? I was like, because his song is basically just like country Jaquan. I was like, this dude, he had to know somebody. He had to know something about some black stuff.
Yeah,
and his early stuff is rap.
Yeah, man.
But
I
yeah,
don't know
man.
Boosie, man. But yeah, man. Hey, Kendrick about to destroy Drake on was he Super Bowl halftime? I think Super Bowl halftime.
Oh man,
it's gonna be crazy. And you know what I was thinking about too? It was super smart that he's coming out with his album and he's doing a Super Bowl halftime this year. So now he's gonna roll his album out a few months before he's at the biggest stage, you know, one of the biggest stage out there in halftime. But you know, that's a whole different conversation. But man, don't forget to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
EP30, 35, 40, midfield, McMahon breaks a tackle, he's gone! 10, 5, touchdown! Raiders!
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
just shut a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed wild. My cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shape the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I play next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. I can't explain it.
What's going on? We back. We back for another edition of Around the Shield, man. We got a special guest host, man. Y'all know who he is, man. Ultimate Raider Fan 32, also known as Turf, man. My guy. Gotta give him the triple salute. Man, appreciate him coming through, man. Hey, what's going on, Turf? On this
Hey. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, man. First and foremost, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate my guys here pulling me up on this joyous day, man. I'm excited to chop it up as always, man. And yeah, it's gonna be a fire show, even though this game y'all should be watching isn't much of a game at all. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, man. But let's talk about it, man. Let's not waste any time, man. The Raiders do play the Chiefs Black Friday, the first ever Black Friday. I don't think I've ever seen an NFL game on a Friday. So unless must have been some crazy weather issue and they had to force a game on that day. But I can't even remember a game on that day. But that being said, the Raiders do play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. First time since last year where they had the Christmas Day massacre showdown Grinch performance that the Raiders played last year. That was last year in Christmas, but this is a completely different team, completely different Raiders football team. I mean, what are your thoughts going into this game? I mean, against the Chiefs, do you feel like there can be possibly an upset here, or is it going to be tough, Turf?
No upset alert at all possible in this situation. As you guys know, I actually was supposed to be going to this game tomorrow. I sold my ticket for $250. I'm gonna just put it to you like that. And y'all know I don't sit in bad seats.
Exactly.
Especially away games, right? Especially away games.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for us, obviously we'll get to the injury reports and things, but there's just no apparent way we have a chance. I would say personally, for a plethora of reasons, right? AOC's first game back. Do you really think he's gonna, be prepared, if you will? So yeah, I just think we are absolutely going to get mollywopped.
Yes, it's gonna be tough. I mean, severe, man. Like AOC is gonna be starting this game. I think that was your guy that you predicted him to start this season, right? Season started. Now I want to bring that up. Old wounds right there. But is there a possible chance the offense could look better under Scott Turner against the Chiefs tomorrow?
There's a chance, but that don't mean it's gonna happen. Ironically, Aiden O'Connell is, I don't say he's outside of Josh Allen, but before Josh Allen beat the Chiefs, Aiden O'Connell was the last quarterback to start a game and beat the Chiefs. Mind you, that was a game where he only completed passes in the first quarter, went the rest of the game without completing the pass. Mm-hmm. That's when we had 2 defensive touchdowns. The infamous, Jack Jones touchdown where he's mean mugging Patrick Mahomes as he scores. He fakes like he's going to give the ball to the kid and yanks it away. So that was the last time we beat him. It was around, during the holidays last year. But this is a completely different team, a completely different situation. Spirits are in a completely different place. Roster, talent, just injuries, completely different. So Aiden O'Connell couldn't complete a pass then. Like I don't see him coming in here and completing the pass. Doing something drastically different now. Even with Scott Turner. Even though we were able to get the run game going a little bit last week, we saw, Turf's guy. And I got to give credit to Turf. Turf's been on the sincere bandwagon for forever. And his guy got some run last week, and he impressed. So I think he'll probably get some more run this week. But even with that, I don't see us being able to do much against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, the way the Raiders are playing right now, it's just not good enough. They're one of the, arguably one of the worst football teams in the NFL. Not arguably, they are one of the worst football teams. I mean,
we are the worst.
They're vying for the top spot at this point. I mean, we're number 2. They're picking. I mean, last time I checked, we're picking number 3. I think they went from number 2 to number 3. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. I think so. It is what it is. But let's actually take a look at the injury report. The latest on the injury report. So it's a Friday game. So this is going to be the final injury report before the game. I don't know if you guys, let me know if you guys could see what I'm seeing here with, let's see here. All right, perfect. All right. So we got Jacorian Bennett, who did not practice. Oh, he's on injury reserve. Ooh,
he's
man,
out for the season. He's
out for the season, man. That's tough. That's tough, man. He had a really good second year, sophomore season. Bennett he's looking like he's going to be a legit starter for the Raiders moving forward. Is he a number 1 corner? Do the Raiders prioritize that position this offseason? Do we have a number 1 corner on the roster? I mean, Jacorian Bennett. I think our secondary is pretty solid, but I don't know if we have a number 1 corner. Do we have a guy that we can stick on someone, you know what I mean, on that opposing team, their best player? Do you guys feel like that we have a number 1 corner on the roster?
How you take it, Terry?
No, I don't. I did think that Jack was going to be that guy, and clearly he's not, in my opinion. Look, and I love Jack Jones. I mean, y'all see, I got the ball, Jack and my guy here, right here. That ball is Jack and AP signed ball. Mm-hmm. And I've been treasuring that thing, man. I'm surprised I haven't put it in a safe box yet. But I expected him to skyrocket this year,
right,
under the tutelage of his guy, right, in the right circumstances. He's still coming back with the same coaching staff as far as defensively. Our secondary's coach is second to nobody, in my opinion. Yeah. Isn't that Phil? What's his name? He was a corner himself. Yes. So, I mean,
UCLA alum.
we need a solid shutdown corner, in my opinion. Somebody that puts fear on one side of the ball. And Jack hasn't become that. Can he? Yes, I think he can. But he's got some deep-rooted issues, man, that he's got to clear up for himself. And it all starts.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. Jack Jones seems like he's a number 2 at best, because he's super aggressive. He kind of reminds me like a Marcus Peters type, where their playmaking is what stands out as far as like their ball skills and their ability to obviously make plays and force turnovers. He hasn't done that like how he did coming in for the Raiders last year, but he did have a pick. He does have a pick 6 on his resume this year. He does, which is, we don't want to say he hasn't done anything, but I don't know if I can see him being a number 1 corner. I'm not sure if I can see that happen. I mean, Severe, man, do you think we should prioritize that position this offseason?
I don't think we should prioritize it. I think we have 2 upper tier number 2 corners. I think they have 2, and I think that's good enough. I think the biggest problem is that we haven't had the pass rush that we had last year with Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz.
True.
And I think that pass rush, that kind of forces quarterbacks to make quicker decisions, and that's when a guy like Jack Jones is at his best, when quarterback is those quick decisions, and then he can kind of play off of that and jump, balls, pause, so he can like, he can jump them, and like that's when like that's when he can do those type of things. I think right now having to cover for 5-6 seconds at a time, like that's going to be tough on any corner, especially a guy like him.
That's true, man. We haven't had the D. Our D line is what's gonna make this defense go. And if we have a good D line, having number 2 corners on starting, that should be good enough. You know what I mean? Imagine Jack Jones with a pass rush. So you would probably be forcing a lot more turnovers. Probably have more interceptions. Bennett probably maybe has an interception. I don't think Bennett has had an interception this year. I don't know if he's had has he ever had an interception in his career? I mean, he's never been a ball hawk, even in college. Like,
correct.
You know what I mean? So
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I don't believe he has a big head. I know he did. I know he doesn't have one this year. I don't think he has one for his career. I don't think.
Yeah,
no,
right.
He might have got one last year.
Okay.
He might have got one last year.
Hey man, but hopefully Ja'Cory Bennett is all good, and we'll be able to see him starting out on the outside next year. I think he's gonna be done for the season. But Harrison Bryant on here, fully practiced. Nate Hobbs is out. His list is out right there, so he's not gonna be playing this game. That's big for him because this is a contract year for him too. Might work in the Raiders' favor too. If you think about it, you know what I mean? Because because now you can negotiate with a player that hasn't been healthy almost every season. Like he was hurt last year too. So, but Nate Hobbs, when he's healthy, he's one of the best nickel corners. He's one of the best nickel corners. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him back. Turf, would you say should the Raiders bring him back, or should we try to replace that position?
This is one where I can be honest and I'm not objective. Nate Hobbs is my guy, man. He's literally the first rookie jersey I've ever purchased out of any store. That's just facts.
Yeah.
I got a chance to meet his sister at the Chargers game a few years back. It may have even been his rookie season. And I was just impressed, man. He came through. He chatted with us, obviously. I've always been impressed with him, man. But I have to admit, the injuries are a problem.
Yeah.
We all know the best ability is availability. So he hasn't gone a full season. And that is alarming, man. That's alarming.
So it might be like an incentive-based deal, most likely maybe like a 1-year deal, where he kind of proves that he can stay healthy for a full season, because it seems like he's been hurt every year. I mean, Severe, would you bring him back for another year, or would you sign him to a more longer term contract, but like kind of a good, favorable contract with the Raiders?
I'm signing him to a solid contract. Like the nickel corner is probably the toughest position to play in the football field defensively. You have to. There's so much you have to do. You're going a lot of times. A lot of these teams, they're putting their best. Yeah, they're putting these best receivers in the slot. They have two-way goals, so you don't have the boundary to help defend guys. And then so you have to cover like a corner, and then you have to play in the run game. You have to play in the run game like a linebacker. That's why you see guys like Brian Branch. I want to say for the Lions, he plays a lot in the nickel, but he's a safety. But because you need those guys that can actually help out in the run game, and it's tough to come by those guys, especially a guy like Nate Hobbs with Nate Hobbs measurables. Like he's not like a lot of times you see these nickel guys are smaller guys. Nate Hobbs is not a small guy. He'd be big for a boundary corner, let alone for a slot corner. So when you have a guy that can play in the slot like that, have the physicality, who's one of our best tacklers, like you gotta like that guy up.
I remember there was a question where they asked one of the players, a few players on the team, who was the fastest player on the team, and some people said Trey Tucker, and then Nate Hobbs came up a few times. I was like, wow, Nate Hobbs at that size, at his weight, calling him the fastest player.
Do you know he has a 40 plus side vertical, and his broad jump is like almost 13 feet or something crazy. This kid is outstanding as far as an athlete.
Super athlete.
Second to nobody.
Yeah. But usually the most athletic players are at corner because they got to do so much. They got to guard, they got to guard receivers. They got to do a lot. But, Nate Hobbs is going to be out this week. Hopefully he gets healthy soon. We'll be able to see him again this season. But hopefully he comes back too, as far as the Raiders bringing him back. I like him as a player. Andre James, he could go. But he's fully healthy. And I don't think he's going to be starting. JPJ is probably going to hold down that spot. Outside of that, he's just going to be a guy that's going to be ready to go if his name is called. Madison is listed as questionable. Meredith is on the injury report, but he's good to go. Minshew, obviously, we all know he's IR. But Aiden O'Connell, he gets to start like we were talking about earlier. He gets to start this week. We'll see if that changes anything for the Raiders on offense because we haven't seen him under Scott Turner in that OC and see how that offense looks like. And the one thing that we could talk about too is that Aiden O'Connell has really good chemistry with Jacoby Myers. I think he has good chemistry with Michael Mayer. So maybe we'll be able to see a little bit more Michael Mayer in the offense. And obviously, the number one option on offense, Brock Bowers, he's going to get his share of targets. But we'll see how that goes. But Zamir White is out. So it's going to be the running back crew. Do you guys you know what, Turf? Let me ask you this, man, because I know you're big on running backs. How did you feel about Sincere McCormick last game?
How did Turf feel about Sincere McCormick? Let me tell you.
That's Turf's adopted son. If you didn't know, that is Turf's adopted son.
It really is, bro. And the reason being is because I encourage anyone to just go check this young man's film out at University of Texas, San Antonio. He is a phenom and well-known from the state of Texas. And if you're a running back and well-known from the state of Texas, I think that kind of speaks for itself in a lot of ways. Right. But I think you saw what we expected to see in both of the running backs that have been starting these past few games, in Madison and White. We saw the shiftiness in his 20-yard run. We saw the explosiveness, and we saw the ability to break tackles all in one run that has been missing across the board all season.
Yeah.
And I knew he had the ability to do this stuff. And it's always been why I've been clamoring for him to get out there and get on the field. And I think you're going to see him get a lot more carries for sure. And I think he's absolutely going to seize this moment. And you'll see him back next year. I really believe that.
Well, he'll get plenty of opportunities.
I think you guys are going to see him playing a whole lot more football for the rest of this season. A whole lot.
Yeah. Do you want to see Dylan Lobby play this? I do.
I do.
He did have a big return.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Dylan Lobby, he can be something. It's just I think it's too soon for him. He's definitely one of those guys that will develop big time if you don't throw him in here now and blow his confidence. See, and that's the thing, man. We talk about these guys. We don't realize that these guys have confidence issues too, including the superstars. A lot of these guys' egos, they're super fragile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we talk this talk, man. All it takes, like Severe knows, we've been having mad conversation about Tyree Wilson. He's very vulnerable right now. If you want that young man to play well, all of us need to straighten up and act right and give him some positive vibes, because if we keep dumping on that kid and that's all he hears, that's exactly what you're going to see on the field, in my opinion. And that's kind of what we're dealing with right now when it comes to rookies, right? Building this roster out because we have no depth. It's a tough situation for us, man. That's why I realized objectively we are a long ways away from being consistent winners. Long ways. I'm talking 3 to 5 years of consistent winning, meaning you guarantee yourself a 9-8 season, guaranteed every year, but you're pretty much shooting for, 12-5, 11-6 on a regular basis, like a Tomlin, right? Mike Tomlin type deal. And that might not be what people want to hear, right? Because Steeler fans are kind of fed up, and I get it. You know what I mean? Who cares about you've never lost a season? Like, whoop-de-doo if you don't have the chip, right? You don't have that trophy behind you like Severe. So So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I know I took that all over the place.
Yeah,
I love McCormick.
Yeah, McCormick. He looked patient out there too. I like how he was like setting up his blocks. He had like a nice little 20-yard run. I think that was really nice. I mean, JPJ obviously had a great block on it, but he looked really. He looked pretty good, and I want to see him. I want to see Dylan Lobby out there. Like we've been saying since we've kind of known that the season was pretty much over. We want to see the young players out there. We want to see what we got before we get rid of them and replace them. So I think it makes sense to play a lot of these young players. And McCormick looks like a guy that needs to get more of an opportunity. Now, going into this game, man, usually we do keys to the game, but at this point, like, this is the way the season is going. Like, what do you want to see out of this game? Like, just watching it. I know you're probably gonna watch it tomorrow when it comes on. What do you want to see out of this game? Turf.
Yeah, so I want to continue to see the young guys grow. I want to see the Snowdens get better. I want to see the Chasins get better. I want to see Amari Gaynor get out there. I have to start to lean towards Severe's thoughts and ways of thinking when it comes to Mr. Tommy Eichenberg. He's not an iceberg. He's a snowflake at this point. I don't see anything out of this kid. I don't know if he's not getting reps because he's still injured, right? I don't get it, but I expected to see much more from him. And now with JB out, we absolutely need one of these rookie cornerbacks to step up, right? So that's the stuff I want to see. I'm really focused on the defensive side because I think we actually have way more pieces to save from the defensive side than we do on the offensive side. And I really honestly think the whole offense can be revamped.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, but the defense, there's some pieces to save. So I'm going to stick to that side of the field, man, as far as, where I'm looking to criticize and give constructive criticism. And, see who we should keep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think our defense, if we can stay healthy, because a lot of the defense's issues have been health. And then we also got to understand, like, if it's a lot of moving pieces here, because now, like, does AP come back? It doesn't look like he's coming back. I don't know, man. That's kind of where I'm leaning. At first, I was like, we got to give him another year, but just each and every game, each and every week, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know if he's going to be coming back at all. And if that happens, the entire coaching staff gets replaced. That means it's going to be a new defensive coordinator, new defense. Like, so what is that going to look like? But there are pieces, like you said, there are pieces on this team, but there are a lot of pieces that need to be re-signed too. So that's another thing too. That's a whole different conversation. But going into this game, like I was talking about earlier, I think that I want to see players play. I want to see the Dylan Lobbies. I want to see the Michael Mayers get more involved. I mean, Severe, if you could speak to that, like what do you want to see out of this Black Friday game against the Chiefs?
Yeah, man, I'm on the same sheet of music as you guys, man. At this point, I've been all about SS, right? Strategic substitutions. Let the young guys play.
Right.
Not tanking, just letting the young guys play. You're right. I'm all for that, right? Right. Let Ramel Keaton get some run. Like, why isn't he out there seeing some time, right? Now that we know Nate Hobbs is out, a guy that was replacing Nate Hobbs in the slot a lot of times was Isaiah Palomar. So now let's see if we can get Trey Taylor out there, right? Like, where is Chris Smith at? Like Amari Burney, I think he's had a little bit of run, but Amari Gaynor, I don't think he's seen the field with any like meaningful snaps. Let's get him out there. Like you guys know how I feel about Tommy Eichenberg, so it's like kind of no need for that. But
he's the best linebacker in football now.
More sincere McCormick, man. I like what I saw, and then that's the big thing, right? Was his patience as a runner, allowing things to develop. I was really impressed with that, especially in the zone blocking scheme. That's very important. So if we're going to continue to run the zone scheme next year, then let's get him some more run out there. So just letting the kids play at this point, right? Like no need to see Andre James anymore. Like make sure sit him down. JPJ, he has that thing on lock. I want to see, what Meredith looks like in the not Meredith, what Harrison Bryant looks like in the tight end rotation with Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer instead of Justin Shorter, who was a converted wide receiver. Like now we got 3 true tight ends out there. Let's see what that looks. Let's see what that can do for our run game. So those are things I'm looking for, as well as a loss, as always. Always looking for that.
Yeah. It's just more of just evaluating the team and seeing who should stay, who should go, and we could talk about that as time goes on. So I agree 100%. I do want to see a good game. I hate the Chiefs, but then I'm thinking like if the Raiders win this game, the way that draft position is set up right now, like one game will move them all the way back to possibly maybe outside the top 10, maybe. And this is a team that can't afford that. We need to get a top pick so we can be in position to get a quarterback, because we're not even, if we're being honest, like I don't even think we should even be considering trading up to get that young QB in this draft, because is there a quarterback that's willing, that you're willing to trade up and jeopardize future assets when like Turf, you're saying that this is a 3 to 5 year plan, right? To get back to consistent winning football. But then if you're trading away your future assets to get a quarterback that, let's be honest, I'm not as high as on the, I don't know, we could talk about that a little bit later, but the QB's coming out this year, I'm not as like excited. Like I'm not like, there's not that guy where I'm like, man, we got to get this guy. You know what I mean? I know we got to get a quarterback, but it just feels like this draft this is not the best QB draft. Just going into it from the outside looking in. But that being said, let's move it along, man. Around the nation, man. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest with the Raiders, man. And this week, they've been talking about a lot of Raider Nation's been talking about the comments that Antonio Pierce has made. And I mean, when I first heard it, like if you hear the full clip, and I should pull up the full clip, but y'all could look that up, man. We're just gonna play the soundbite that everybody's talking about. And what it is he pretty much calls the Raiders the worst team in football. But if you know AP, if you've been following on AP is very honest, straightforward, but he's trying to find a way to motivate this team. It wasn't like disgust, but Turf, I mean, what was your initial reaction when you heard the comments? And I'll go ahead and play the clip real quick here.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a second, and then you can just react to it. So here we go. Just had it up here. Where'd it go? All right, here we go. So let's see. Get this out the way. So this is Antonio Pierce. Can you guys hear it?
No.
Oh man.
Watching, yeah. It's called spade to spade, right? The best team in football against the worst team in football. Let's change the narrative, right? Watching, yeah. It's called spade to spade, right? The best team in football against the worst team in football. Let's change the narrative, right? Watching, yeah. It's called spade to spade, right? The best team in football against the worst team in football.
So this is a really short clip.
Right? Watching,
yeah.
It's called spade to spade, right? The best team in football against the worst team.
You could tell like what they were trying to get at when they
absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to introduce you to Antonio Pierce from Compton, because that's who that is talking right now. That is not Antonio. Anthony. So it makes sense to me. And I don't see a problem at all with being real up front and transparent, straight to your face, and no sugarcoating. That's basically what the man is saying. No. Anybody that has a problem with that, they definitely don't belong in football, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Severe, if you could speak to it, because like, can he lose the locker room with these comments? Is it because it's a fine line sometimes? Like, can you lose? Like, you're calling us the worst team and yada yada yada. Like,
he's already lost the locker room. He lost the locker room. The locker room got fractured the minute that Devontae Adams asked for a trade. That locker room was fractured already right there. We've all played on teams in sports. We all know teammates follow other teammates, period. You can't get me to believe that people weren't already following Devontae Adams when he started that. Another part of that fracture came from Jack Jones. Business decisions comment. You don't think Jack Jones has his minions following him? This team was already fractured. And in fact, let me give y'all a hint. Every NFL team has a fractured locker room, and not every player is their coach. Period.
Right.
That's just facts. There's no locker room, including the Detroit Lions, that love their coach 100%. So there you have it from that respect. That's what I have to say.
I mean, severe. Like, are you agreeing with Turf here? Like, the locker room is already lost, or were these comments kind of like people are kind of they're just overanalyzing it, or were these comments kind of like, man, this is just a summary of what Antonio Pierce has been this year? All over.
I mean, I think people are overanalyzing it, but much like Turf said, they're always, no matter what you do, you know, there's never going to be a time where everybody likes you, right? And we've seen it with, like, we've already seen it with this team, right? We've already seen like how juvenile that they seem to be, right? Like last year they were complaining about McDaniels because McDaniels was working them too hard and was holding them too accountable. Film sessions were too long. And this year they're crying, oh, there's not enough accountability. We're not doing enough to correct the dumbest team isn't being used efficient enough, right? And Bill Parcells said it best. You are what your record says you are. So right now we are tied for the worst record in the league. Ergo, we are the worst team in football, or tied for the worst team in football, right? That's just real. So if you have a problem with that, you guys are on the field. You guys have a direct impact on that. Go out and do something about it. You know, basically. So I mean, if anybody is in their feelings about that, I mean, that they have to take some self-stock, some self-accountability, and look at themselves in the mirror, which is ironically not something this team or these players have seemed to want to do, because they've complained about diametrically opposing things over these last 2 years.
Man, good point. I mean, I guess you guys both agree that it wasn't worse than the comments that Bill Callahan made, and this is what he said back
in America in terms of playing the game. And I'm highly critical because of the way we give.
So if you
dumbest team in America in terms of playing the game, and I'm highly critical because of the.
So calling it basically the team the dumbest team in America. Everybody knew he lost the locker room. When he said that, when he said those comments, I knew he lost the comment. Like, I'm like, what in what way can you like make sense of that, calling a team dumb? Like, you're kind of there's no way out of it. I mean, worst team, you know, I think it's not as bad. I think it's just more of like, that's the reality. Like, look at the record. It's not like they're playing the best ball. They're playing good football right now. You know, the record speaks for itself. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess you guys can both agree that the Bill Callahan comments is the worst for sure.
Yo, I know this ain't fair at all, but like, I know, because it's like old cameras and stuff like that. But like,
damn,
like, man, Oakland Coliseum was so dusty that it looks like Bill Callahan's. It's just in sepia. It's just in sepia tone right now. That's just,
damn.
Oh my God.
That's hella nasty. Hella nasty. For sure.
Oakland Coliseum was so dusty. It looks like it's in sepia tone, bro. It's like some shit out the Wild West right now.
Man. They had to dust that film and pull that up, man. But yeah, man, hey, that's pretty much what everybody's talking about, is those comments. I feel like everybody kind of like jumped on it just because, like, right now people are on edge. They're ready to fire AP, to be honest with you. They're like, hey, we got to get rid of this guy. So it just felt like that. But when you hear the full clip, y'all can look it up. He's just really talking about like, hey, like, we need to find every way possible to feel like you know, feel like we're disrespected. You know, right now we're the worst team. He basically ended it by saying, let's change that narrative. Let's change that narrative. So when you hear him say it like that, like, he's trying to get his team to play good football and win on Friday. That's what he's trying to do. So I didn't really take it like the other way, but you know, the way everybody wants AP gone right now. It's not as bad as McDaniels, but it's as each week goes by, man, it's getting worse and worse. Any like, do y'all think let me ask you this, Turf. Do you think AP's coming back?
I do. I think 100% he comes back. Yeah, I don't think they'll get rid of him. Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. That's the easiest, quickest answer. I don't think he'll go anywhere.
You know what? Like someone the other day, he left a really good comment. They were like, you know what? Like, it's going to be tough to get an offensive coordinator that would be legit to mold the next QB that comes in to come to this team, because now, like, they're going to be questioning AP and his how long he's going to stay the Raiders coach. So do you think that comes into play when future candidates for that OC job are interviewing and like, what's my job security look like? Man, it looked like they're going to fire him after this year. So I don't know. This looks like this might be a 1-year deal at OC. I'm not sure if I want to sign up for this. Do you think that comes into play with some of these OCs, Severe?
I think it may, but conversely, it could be like, look, yo, this dude get fired. I have opportunity to be interim head coach, and I can take over this team, and I can audition for my next job. So, you look at it like that, like a guy like, let's say if it's a guy like Brian Daboll, if he gets fired, we bring him in, right? He has the opportunity to look, I ain't gonna get no head coaching looks this cycle. I go over here, AP got the sword of Damocles hanging over his head right now, right? Any second that thread can fall, and it's the heads are rolling, and I'm the guy that got head coaching experience, right? Kevin Stefanski, same deal. Hey, I'm the guy with head coaching experience. You get rid of him, who's the logical next guy to take over? Well, obviously it's me. So, and I might not get a look anywhere else, right? I know Marcus said he thinks he'll get looks, but a lot of teams will. Hey, Ben Johnson's still lurking out there. Bobby Slowick is lurking out there, right? Like,
yeah,
these my guy that was with the Cowboys, whose name escapes me right now. I think he's with offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Like he's lurking out there for a head coaching job. So, if the quickest way is to I come over here, this guy gets fired, I slide right into that spot. So I mean, I'm sure conversely, if you're looking for a younger offensive mind, a younger offensive coordinator, they have to take that in consideration. Do I want to go here where that job security is not as good? But for one of these guys like Daboll or Stefanski, like I think it could work in the opposite direction.
But then I'll give you a little pushback, because like, what is the chances that an interim head coach becomes a head coach? You know what I mean? Like AP was an example of that, but it's not a lot. Usually teams go their separate ways. Interim guy comes in, and then because I think the Lions coach Dan Campbell, he was an interim coach.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris was an interim coach, but they didn't become head coaches until later on. You know what I mean? Like later on in their career. So. Yeah. Maybe you could say, oh, well, it would be good experience, but that's something that a young guy would want. These veteran guys that you're mentioning, Daboll, like they're trying to get to that spot as soon as possible, but they're not trying to do it as an interim. Like I'm not sure if I don't know if that route would be the best way to get to that head coach spot if that's what they're looking for.
Well, what I'm saying is that they're not going to get looks this cycle as a head coach, likely, right? But if Antonio Pierce gets fired and they do a good job as interim, this next cycle, they'll definitely get looks. Presently, they can go 2 or 3 hiring cycles and possibly not get another look at head coach. But if Antonio Pierce gets fired, and almost like Bruce Arians, right? Bruce Arians, he was interim for the coach, by the coach. But what he did as interim for the coach got him the Arizona job, I believe, or he had, or was it the Bucs job next? I can't remember. Maybe it was the Bucs job next. But like what he did there as interim got him his next head coaching job. So I'm saying these guys may not get looks this cycle or the next cycle or the next cycle after that. But if they do a good job as interim head coach, it's a very strong possibility in the next hiring cycle they're like, hey, this guy already has experience. See what he did with this team. He was able to guide them through that tumult, and now look at him. So that could be a consideration.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. But I mean, Turf, do you want to speak to that real quick?
Yeah. I agree with Severe on on the ability or capabilities of being promoted from intern. It's a very delicate dance. You have to be very careful of these jobs that you choose. Great example, Getty. I mean, where is he going to really truly get a real new OC coaching job if it's not in college, right? He's going to have a tough time, finding another OC position, I believe, for a few. Because he chose wrong. Let's be honest. He should have never taken that job. Yeah, I hear echo.
Hold on, I think it's on my end. We good?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
going?
I think. Yeah, but I think he learned a valuable lesson, man. It's that good old saying, man. All money ain't good money. You know what I mean? And he was set up for he was the setup. Whether he knew this or not, maybe for all we know, he just knew this was his lick and he was getting out the game or what have you. I don't know, but he was 100% set up to be the fall guy. I mean, you should never accept somebody's, second sloppy seconds.
Right.
And that's what he was. He knew he was the sloppy seconds, and he took it anyways. And I think it was a mistake. I think he was better off trying to get on with another team, and maybe not even in an OC fashion. Maybe back to quarterbacks coach, right? Somewhere where he can gain that confidence back, because I can assure you he has no confidence as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
There's no way he can tell anyone he has confidence. And so you got to pick and choose these positions wisely. And like y'all have been saying, nobody smart's coming to the Las Vegas Raiders. Not until they get their act together and they actually start treating the coaching staff and players properly. That in itself is a problem. Like, and that's why I'm saying we are so far away and we don't even understand the other underlying problems. Like, just treating your players and coaching staffs properly is a bad stigma that we have. That has to get cleared up before you actually get a real coach.
Yeah.
Right. So there's just things we got to do. And the smart guys aren't going to pick us.
Yeah.
Not unless, like Sabir said, they see the play. See, they don't want to be the fall guy, and that's where Getsy failed. He didn't realize you're not the guy, and you're never going to be that guy to get it out the mud on your own, and that's what you need. So, yeah, Eric Bieniemy is somebody I could see taking the job because he has no choice. He has to take what he can get just based off of his background, right? We all know that. So a person like him, he's gonna shoot for whatever they give him, right? He's gonna take those scraps. Guys like your boy over at Detroit, he's never leaving. Why would you leave Detroit with the best team in the league as an offensive coordinator to be a head coach for a team that sucks? That's the reason you're getting the job. And you know they're going to turn on you just as quickly as the coach that's leaving. It just doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something to say to what you were saying about the stigma about the Raiders and how they treat their coaching staff and players and all that, right? Because there was a survey done over the offseason where they talked to different agents around the league, and they mentioned that the Raiders were one of the worst destinations for coaches to go because, like, there is a question of stability there. Like, they'll fire him after 1 year, which is like, at the end of the day, that's not what coaches want to go into. They know when they're going into it, it's going to take a few years. There's going to be exceptions to the rules where, like, that first year they're going to come out winning a lot of games, but for the most part, it's going to be a long term, especially the Raiders and the situation that they're in with all these missed draft picks, with all these mistakes. They need to clean that up.
Our division, guys. We are clearly the worst in our division. I have to be honest and bring this subjectivism to all of us, because the bottom line is AP is the bottom of the barrel of our division when it comes to the head coach, right? I mean,
it sucks, man.
Andy Reid is the god, bro. Andy Reid is the god. So, I mean, nobody's going to question anything on that side. Hey, Sean Payton he paid his dues. He earned where he is right now, regardless whether you like him or hate him. And I don't like Sean Payton as a head coach. I don't like what he did to Russell. I don't like what he did to Russ Wilson. So, or any other people that he's treated that way. So again, I that's not somebody I like either, but you got to give him his props. And look what he's doing with a mediocre team and a great defense. I mean, that guy's quarterback is nowhere close to what he's used to, but look how he's got him playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then last but not least, man, Jim Harbaugh. I hate it, but the truth is he was always the right pick. The bottom line was he was never going to come. Why? We don't have a quarterback. He's not going to be able to deal with Mark Davis and not giving an extra $1 in a third year on a contract for his guy he wants, his offensive coordinator, right? All of these things that happened to AP, no other experienced head coach is falling for that. You know, you're not hitting me with the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to happen. So that's why we're getting what we're getting. We're getting people that they're clamoring, you know, they're getting their last shot, you know, their first shot and their only shot. While these other guys that are seasoned, they know what's going on. Ben Johnson is going to wait for the right situation.
Right. He's not gonna wait this long to go to a team that doesn't have a quarterback or doesn't have a great situation for him to come into. That's 100% facts. And I agree with you with Jim Harbaugh. He was never coming to the Raiders. If anything, he was using the Raiders as leverage, which, you know, at certain points in time, I did want Jim Harbaugh to come in, but like I kind of figured out that he wasn't coming because we don't have a quarterback. Like, at the end of the day, he's a successful head coach in his own right, from college, even the pros with the 49ers before coming to the Chargers. And he had a quarterback in place. Whether you like Alex Smith or not, he believed in Alex Smith and he knew he could revitalize his career, which he, to a certain extent, he did. And then the Colin Kaepernicks. And then you got, obviously, you know, he comes into the Chargers. They got Justin Herbert. Who do we have? We got Minshew and AOC and the number 13th pick in the draft. Like, the reality is that they weren't going to get a quarterback, even if it was this guy JJ McCarthy. You know what I mean? Like, he looked at the reality. Like, he knows it's not a guarantee. He had to go look at what the guarantee was for that team, for the Raiders, and what they had is what they had. They don't have a quarterback in place, and I think that's going to probably hurt. We had Marcus on the other day, Tape Don't Lie, and he looked at it from a perspective like, look, if we get rid of AP, we're going to get a defensive head coach. We're not going to get an offensive head coach unless it's someone, you know, that's not as high profile, you know, someone that, you know, we didn't expect. Like, you know, he mentioned, what did he mention? He meant like Frank Smith or guys like that where, you know, they're not as big a name as maybe a Ben Johnson. But if most likely it might be a defensive coach, maybe a Mike Vrabel, maybe a Brian Flores, who knows? But we'll see how it shakes out, man. For me, Turf, man, I'm not sure if AP comes back, man. I think he should come back.
Right.
But because I know what he's dealing with right now with the injuries on defense, offensively. But there is a level of, I'll say this, where he did build that entire coaching staff up.
Right.
And if you're not a guy that can pinpoint coaching talent and put it together, and your best attribute is your leadership, and we're not really seeing it this year with all this losing, and it's just, I'm like, what can you hang your hat on a little bit? Like, you're not an X's and O's guy. Like,
if we're going to be objective, AP was a bad hire, period. It was an emotional hire. Let's be honest. If you were running a company and you got AP's resume versus the other people that were out there, there's no way you hire AP. It was an emotional move. I can admit that I was part of it. I was all fully on board, just like everybody else, right? The whole nation. And that's why I'm frustrated, because the entire nation wanted this. There weren't many people saying no AP. Only the wise elders. Only the wise elders that knew what getting a rookie head coach was going to entail brought those things to light. But every time they kind of surfaced that, you know, they completely got shut down by the younger crowd, right, et cetera. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, and now we're seeing the mistakes. We're seeing the rookie woes in these bad decisions. And it's being a rookie. And that's why I keep questioning everybody. So you want to go get another rookie head coach to see him make the same rookie head coach mistakes? Because it's going to happen no matter you're Ben Johnson. I don't care what coach you are. If you are a rookie, you're going to run into issues because you're doing things for the first time you've never done. And you're going to be pulled in so many different directions. Again, the locker room is going to be fractured the second you start implementing your standards, because some players are going to like it and some players aren't. Period.
Right.
I don't care who you are. So, man, this head coaching thing is not as easy as people think it is. I can assure you that.
Yeah. It's a tough decision, because on one end you're like, man, like, does it make sense to bring in a candidate where, you know, they're probably not going to get the best, and if they get a defensive minded head coach, we kind of have that in AP and this current regime.
Patrick Graham, we have that in Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham is a head coach. I'm sorry, I don't know why people think this man isn't a head coach. He got interviewed by multiple teams and then got interviewed second time with the Seahawks. The man is a head coach. He is head coach material. He's more of a head coach material than AP is. AP's never been a defensive coordinator in the NFL. That's why I'm saying it was an emotional grab, and, you know, we fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, and now everybody's having second thoughts.
Yeah. And does Patrick Graham even come back? You know what I mean? It doesn't look like he's coming back this year. I felt like after this season he was going to leave and probably go to a different situation, or maybe, you know, hopefully for him, he wanted to make sure he gets that head coaching spot, because like you said, he's a head coaching candidate. But the way this season went, it's kind of like, if AP comes back, does he come back possibly, or does he go to a different team and play the same role? Maybe try to, bring back that buzz of him, because it's tough for defensive coaches to get head coaching jobs. Usually, all the limelight, everybody's just focused on getting that offensive minded coach, that quarterback guru. Usually, those guys that get the first look. So we'll see how that looks like. But let's move it along real quick, man. There's another big decision that needs to be made this offseason. Extra point. One last thing. We talked about this in the last show. Shedeur Sanders is one of the top prospects out there at QB. And Mel Kiper had a conversation where he was ranking Mel Kiper and a few other guys. Once I play the clip, if you want to break it down real quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, last show on a 50-50 show, we kind of got Mel Kiper talking about his comparisons for Shedeur in different elements of his game. And I think he said, I want to say he brought up Goff, and he brought up Tom Brady, and he brought up somebody else. I forgot who the other person was. I think Burrow was the other person. This time, we're getting some rankings from Phil Yates. Phil Yates talking about if Shedeur was in this previous class, a class with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May and Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix, pre-draft, right? Not based on where they are now, not based on what they're doing now, but just pre-draft grades, where he would rank. And it was interesting that the spot they put him in. And both Phil Yates and Mel Kiper, by the way, they both have Shedeur ranked ahead of Cam Ward. So that's why they're talking about strictly Shedeur in this scenario.
All right, here goes the clip.
3 last year, Caleb, Jaden, Drake. And then I think it's a Shedeur Sanders, J.J. McCarthy debate. And J.J. is such an interesting case, because you talked to Mel, said like the thing that ties Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders together is the experience. What was the reality of J.J. McCarthy last year is that, and I know that we're a year removed, it's not important anymore, but one of the questions I kept coming back to in the pre-draft process for J.J. was, what's the one throw, the one game, the one drive where you said to yourself, stamping this guy. I am stamping this guy as my quarterback 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was. Jaden Daniels, we talked about so many different games, right? I mean, whether it was the Missouri game last year, that loaded Missouri defense, and he basically wills LSU to a high-scoring affair, etc. There just wasn't that moment or series of moments for J.J. McCarthy that I felt as strongly about. He would be sort of neck and neck with Shedeur Sanders. J.J. a better athlete, a stronger arm. Shedeur much more experienced, more polished from the pocket. That would be a very healthy debate for me. 1, 2, 3 last.
So Turf, man, just hearing that, but what were your thoughts on that? The clip.
So I'm biased, and the reason I'm biased is because our setup. Tom Brady is absolutely going to be running a lot of decision making when it comes to the offense in general, particularly the quarterback position. We know that Tom Brady has been grooming, or you know what I mean, refining Shedeur Sanders to be the next guy to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it a bean. That's exactly what he's been doing. We are talking about arguably the best player ever as far as Deion Sanders and his son. You gotta, I mean, there's no way you can't think that this kid hasn't been, you know what I'm saying, put in all the right situations to be what he is today. This isn't a LeBron James and Bronny situation. It's not even close. Those are night and day. This is a kid that grew up in Texas, balled out in Texas, got a name in Texas, which is arguably one of the best states in all of the United States for football. And then he worked his way from a historically black college to a whatever you want to call the Big 12. I don't understand what more you need to see from him to know that he is absolutely going to be what he is, which is going to be a great quarterback in the NFL for a long time. I look at him as being like a Tom Brady. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest arm. He's not the tallest. He's not going to be any of those attributes. But I think when it comes to his decision making, all the things that made Tom Brady, I think he's already got a lot of that rubbed off. I talk about this all the time when it comes to coaching staffs and people. Just think about it yourselves. All of the coaches that you had growing up, and really realize some of the things that you gained from them. You know what I mean? Some of it is physical. I'll never forget my coach. Shout out to Coach Chris Smith. The reason my triceps are so big from that respect is because that was his regimen. I literally worked out with that man. He showed me the ropes. He rubbed off on me just like a lot of my other coaches, and I can just ramble them off. And you're seeing that right now real time with Tom Brady and Shedeur Sanders, and it's translating to the field. I don't know what more people need to see from that respect. And now Tom Brady is part owner. It's a match made in heaven, and I believe we'll absolutely see it come to fruition. No matter how, no team really, they did it with Jaden Daniels, but that was obvious. Where we are in this draft, I don't see any other team making a decision to try to fight us for Shedeur. You got Cam. We're gonna be number 1 or 2. It's just not gonna make sense. You're fighting an uphill battle, and it just won't make sense. So I don't see how we don't get Shedeur Sanders. I just don't see it. I'd even bet on that one, guys. Yep, call me out. I will bet that we are drafting Shedeur Sanders, period, no matter what, unless somebody else does it.
So is Telesco a highly paid scout at this point? With Tom Brady in the building?
When it comes to this pick, yes.
With this pick?
I think that he will resurface after this quarterback pick. But this quarterback pick is 100% Tom Brady. He's the owner, guy. He signs Tom Telesco's check.
Yeah.
He signs his check.
Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. But and I with the Mark Davis on the sideline of the WNBA game, having a conversation with them, just like smiling from ear to ear, and obviously Shedeur is just making an effort to talk to him, and then we all know with Shedeur, like the buzz around Shedeur every week, he's saying thank God after the game. We'll see what he says during Black Friday game, and that would be really interesting. Now I would confirm everything. Like, it's not Sunday anymore. Now you're saying thank God on Friday. You know what I mean? That's interesting.
And it's the only game, right?
He gets some shoes. He gets some shoes on social media. Got some black and silver shoes, black and gray shoes. He's like, shout out Raiders. So he knows he's feeding into the buzz right there, and even his pops is feeding into it as well. You know what I mean? This is all like marketing to get that attention. Raider fans. We're gonna.
Said something as well. I want to say Trevor Sanders said something as well. I think he's like with the number 1 pick, Las Vegas Raiders selection.
Exactly. I mean, severe, man. Like. Man, just all right. Like, if you had to, because that clip was talking about, they were talking about the ranking the quarterback class, the previous quarterback class with Shedeur in it. Where would you rank them? Do you have Shedeur at number 4 after Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May? Would you put Shedeur there? Because Shedeur, they're kind of with the buzz is now that they're saying that he's going to go number 1. There's a lot of buzz there. It's been forward, but like that's literally what they're saying here. Do you have him number 4, or do you have him higher compared to the quarterbacks of the last draft?
So I had Jaden 1, I had Penix 2, I had Caleb 3. It'd be the same situation, except it'd be, instead of JJ McCarthy, it'd be like him and Drake May. Like Drake May has all the tools, he has the physical, he has super high highs, but he has, very low lows. He had, it'd be that same situation. He'd probably be 4, but I'd have Penix ahead of him instead of Drake May. I know everybody had Drake May ahead of him. I wasn't that big of a fan of Drake May, so be in that same range. But I actually, depends, because I have Cam Ward ahead of Shedeur. So if it's Cam Ward and Shedeur, then he'd be behind Cam Ward, and he'd be behind Cam Ward. I'd have Cam Ward over Drake May, like clearly. So it would be like Cam Ward would be 4, Shedeur would be 5 or 6, depending on Drake May. Like
what's the biggest thing that you have Cam Ward over Shedeur? What's the biggest thing like you could think of like that would make you say Cam Ward over Shedeur?
The arm strength, athletic ability, playmaking ability. I think he's just a guy that he has a knack for making plays. But like Turf said though, like I compared it to the Justin Herbert Tua situation, right? Like Tua, very safe, very, very clean prospect outside like the injuries, with which you don't have to worry about that with Shedeur. Because Shedeur, he's never really been injured, so that's one thing he has over Tua. But Tua was a very clean prospect, right? Very clean. Like outside the injury stuff, everything else, just mark off the boxes. Clean, like good processor, high IQ, good leader, right? Like no off the field concerns. Like Shedeur, for the most part, is in that same realm. But then you had Justin Herbert, who was the guy, stronger arm, better athlete, playmaking ability. Like you can see the upside there. So I think it's kind of that same situation. And if you're going to be picking that high, like why go safe? It's go big or go home. I'm going with the guy that has the potential to be, one of the best quarterbacks in the league just from a talent standpoint. Where Shedeur has an opportunity to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but it has to be more from like, hey, you know what, I'm strategic, I'm precise, all those things. And those things you want in a quarterback, but you also want in those situations where, their guys are better than our guys. Can our quarterback be the equalizer? And sometimes that's what it takes. Like, hey, you know what? They have the better team over there, but my guy behind center is going to will us to a victory. And I don't know if Shedeur has that in him.
You bring up a great point, man. He brings up a great point though when it comes to Cam having a higher ceiling. That I agree with because again, like you said, when it comes to Drake May, let's keep it a bean. He's way more athletic than Shedeur. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, all those things. And truth be told, they are digging Drake May up in Patriots land. And I'm hearing some great things about that kid.
That's your neck of the woods too.
I know exactly, and I know chat or people watching don't have a clue, but I'd take Justin Herbert over Jared Goff. I was thinking about that. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I would take Justin Herbert over Jared Goff. I would.
He's continuing the conversation. Hey, just FYI for everybody that's watching, we were just talking before the show started about quarterbacks, and Jared Goff's name came up, and Turf is not the biggest Jared Goff fan. He feels like there's better options out there.
I don't hate the guy. I just don't think he's amongst the top 10 or top 5, I should say.
I don't think he's that bad. Turf has like 25 quarterbacks. Like, now you think about it, this Sam Darnold kid, what's he doing in Minnesota this year? I might take Sam Darnold.
You're right. I don't know. He's done nothing to me. I really don't think I have a bias, but I know it sounds like it. I agree with Shedeur. He must have stole my lunch money or something.
Man, he
bro.
must have did something, man. Did he beat? Did they ever play Montana? And did he play Montana when he was at Cal? And just put a whipping on him? Man.
Something happened, bro. Something happened, but yeah,
something happened, man.
I just had to put that out there.
But yeah, man, just to move it along, man, it's that time, man. It's NFL game picks. This is where we pick game picks this week. Obviously, Mike is out this week. You know, we all know, we understand, man. It's Thanksgiving. But we got his game picks as well as we got Turf here, man, to pick his game. So last week, we go ahead and let me go ahead and put this up on the screen here. Last week, let's see the results from last week here. And hey, I didn't gain anything. We kind of like tied up. That's pretty much what it was. We're 8-4.
Oh wow.
8-4. The one game I try to call it ups. I was super aggressive. I said the Colts were going to beat the Lions. I know I got super aggressive. I was feeling myself. Last 2-3 weeks I was winning the weekend. So, but I learned my lesson, man. The Lions, they're just too good right now. I can't pick against them ever until they prove me otherwise. But the all-time season record, Mike is 64-42. I'm 67-39, and Severe is 72-34. Man, shout out the Bulls. Got 72 wins already, man. But we'll see. We'll see where the road to getting that hat continues, man. We got a few more weeks, so we'll see how it shakes out. And shout out to ECG last week. He was our guest host. East Coast Gridiron. He finished 7-5. Man, my bad, bro. We just had to take care of business last weekend. So I think one of his upsets, I think, was the Bears. He tried to pick the Bears, and then they end up losing that game last week. I think that was one of the games that they got him. It was an overtime game. Yeah, that was a tough game for him. But that being said, let's go ahead and start picking these games. Let's see here. Put this on here. Here we go. All right. I don't know if y'all can see it here.
They scored again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a game.
Yeah, they trying to make it a game now. Yeah, they trying to make it a game. They must have heard me talking about it.
By the time y'all watch this, man, y'all know who's win that game. But right now, we're watching this game live. But that being said, the first game on the list here, we got the Giants and Cowboys. Turf, who you got?
the toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl. The game of the week, man. This is the game of the week. No,
game of the week. The toilet bowl game of the week.
The toilet bowl.
I have to go with the Cowboys, even though I look at this as a pick'em game. I mean, they're playing at home. That's the only reason. They've had a terrible streak going. I believe the Cowboys losing at home. So I'm picking the Cowboys.
All right, man. I'm going with the Cowboys too, man. I think the Giants are really hurt right now, especially at quarterback. This is in Dallas. Thursday game, Cowboys, man. This is what they do. I would think. I think we won in Thanksgiving. I think we won a Thanksgiving game before, so we stole that thunder before. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Cowboys this week.
I'm gonna do the same, man. I get grief because of all the teams in the NFL, whether it's the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Patriots, all the teams. The team I hate the most is the Cowboys. Followed very closely by the 49ers. So it's hard for me to pick the Cowboys, but I think Cooper Rush. I think he anytime he's been able to play, get some spot duty, he's done well. And now the Giants they're down Daniel Jones, they're down DeVito, so they're starting. What's my guy they used to play for the Broncos? I forget his name. Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Yeah.
We're starting Drew Lock. So I think Malik Neighbors probably has a big game. But the Cowboys are getting healthy on defense. I think CeeDee Lamb has a big game. I think Rico Dowdle has a big game, and I think Cowboys pull it out.
Man, Mike went ahead and he's picking the upset today. He's picking the Giants to win.
He's got it. He's got to come back. So that's the only way he can come. That's the only way he can come back. He's got to pick some upset.
But moving along, man, we got the Dolphins and Packers. Who we got, Turf?
You know what, man? I am going to shock the world. I think that the Dolphins have a chance still. And I think the Packers kind of shot their shot this past week, and I think this is a trap game for them. I think they have the ability to lose this, so I'm going to pick the Dolphins.
Man, I'm going with the Packers, man. It's in Green Bay. It's going to be a cold game. The Dolphins are used to that Florida weather. And the Packers, I feel like, could win ugly just because they have that ability to run the football. I mean, the Dolphins can run the football too as well, but I see what you're saying. And the Dolphins are on a, I think they're on a roll right now. They're on a winning streak. They got Tua back a few weeks back, and they've been winning ever since, it feels like. So I can see where you're going with it, but I'm going with Packers at home. Who you got, Severe?
It's the safe pick. It's the safe pick.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, man, I got to go with the Packers, too. I hate to do it. If this game was being played on a neutral site, I would have the Dolphins winning. If it was on a neutral site, fair weather, 70-degree weather, I'd have the Dolphins winning. But this being in Lambeau, it's gonna probably be in the 20s or the 30s. Seems like all their best players are from warm climates. Tua's from Hawaii. I think Tyreek is from Florida. Jalen, he's from the side. All those guys are from warm climates. So that cold hits a little bit different. So I got to go with the Packers.
All right, and Mike also picked the Packers as well. But the next game, we got Raiders and Chiefs, Black Friday. Turf, man, who you got?
I got the Chiefs, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I think you made that clear.
Yeah,
you got the Chiefs big.
I agree, man. I got the Chiefs. I don't see the Raiders winning this game. Severe, who you got?
Yeah, man. As I said before, last year I was not a fan of Antonio Pierce. I didn't think he should be our head coach. And the game that changed my mind and won me over to everybody, to the other 99.9% of Raider Nation, was when the Raiders went into Arrowhead Stadium and they beat the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. That will not happen this year. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they get Isaiah Pacheco back, I think, for this game too. Oh my God. It's gotta be.
We about to get worked.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. But Mike also went with the Chiefs as well. Chargers and ATL. The ATL Falcons, Atlanta Falcons. Who you got, Turf? It's gonna be in Atlanta.
This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a good game too. This is actually a good game. I am going to go with the Falcons on this one.
Mm-hmm. So you pick your boy Kirk Elite Cousins. You better pick your boy.
They're at home. The Chargers are going to be playing in a 10 a.m. game. Mm-hmm. It's right. It's never good when a West Coast team has to travel to the East. It's going to be cold. Probably. Well, they're in the dome, so yeah. I still think that the Falcons going to pull it off, though.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I got the Falcons, but I've been down the Chargers this year. They're 7-4, man. They're winning games, and they're winning games because they got a really good defense, and they're complementing their defense, running the football, not turning the ball over. Basically, you already know, man. Jim Harbaugh type football. But I do. I know, man. Everywhere he goes, he wins. But I think this game, Falcons, I'm going to give them the edge because it's at home. Like you said, 10 a.m. game. Chargers coming from the West Coast could affect them. And Raheem Morris, I think, is a good defensive-minded coach, man. I think he got something cooked up for I was going to say Phillip Rivers, man, but Justin Herbert in the offense. So I got the Falcons. Severe, who you got?
I'm rolling with the Falcons too. They're coming after a bye week. Before that, they had a rough game against, I think, the Broncos. Beat up on them pretty bad. So they're able to rest. The Chargers are coming off a game against the Ravens. I mean, I'd have to check the record, but I'm pretty sure teams that play the Ravens or the Steelers, their following week, they generally don't fare too well. And as Turf said, it's an early start on the East Coast for a West Coast team. I think the Falcons, they've had 2 weeks to kind of prepare for this. So I think they pull it out. I think Derrick Henry ran for like 100 like a $140 against the Chargers last week. So look for a healthy dose of Algier and of Bijan Robinson in this game.
Mike went for the upset here, man. He went with the Chargers. Picked the Chargers.
That's not a big, like that game can go either way.
It can go either way. We call upsets on this show is like if everybody picks the other team, then whoever picks against that is the upset. But next game that we got here, man, we got the Steelers and Bengals. This one's a tough game. I know record-wise it doesn't look like it, but I just feel like it's a tough game. But Turf, who you got?
It is a tough game, man. I'm scared as heck of this game, but I have to go with the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is starting to get fed up, man, and at some point I think he's going to figure out how to take it over on his own, and the defense will catch up.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I think it's So you got the Bengals.
I got the Bengals.
All right, you got the Bengals, the Bungles. If y'all know, y'all know.
Yes, sir.
But we got the Steelers and Bengals this week. Man, it's tough because then like even if Joe Burrow's throwing 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, whatever you want to call it, they're still losing.
Yeah.
But it is at home, divisional game. Man, if it's a high scoring affair, I think the Bengals win it. But if it's a defensive game, which is what the Steelers want it to be and how they've been winning this year, man, this is tough.
It is. It's a real tough one. I think quick, but it's not easy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Steelers, man. I'm gonna go Steelers.
Man. I'm going to go. The Steelers are coming off a tough loss to the Browns as well, where Jameis Winston ordered him a dub off of Amazon.
That's funny.
And even though the Bengals are coming off of a bye, I think it's like the Steelers, they played on Thursday night, so it's almost like a mini bye week for them too. They get the extended rest as well. Man. I'm gonna go with the Bengals, man. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I just think that a lot of weapons over there. I think they're starting to get it in gear. And I think at some point the switch is going to flip for them. And I think Burrows, if the Bengals were winning, he'd be clearly in the MVP race right now. It's just they're not winning. So he's playing at elite level. He's probably playing the best ball of any quarterback in the league right now. It's just that the Bengals just can't seem to win. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, man. So Mike also picked the Bengals. So I guess I'm the one picking the upset pick this week, or this game, I should say. So we'll see, man. I can see it going either way, man. I can see the Bengals winning this too as well because, like, man, they're 4-7. This is probably one of the surprise teams. We didn't think they were going to be 4-7 going, especially with a healthy Joe Burrow. So that being said, next game we got Texans Jaguars. Who you got, Turf?
I gotta go with the Texans.
Yeah.
Right. I have to.
Yeah.
No question. I won't even take up much time. Yeah, I just think it's gonna be an easy game.
Ain't gotta explain, man. Y'all just look at the record real quick. You know what I mean? That's probably another factor too, man. 2-9, 7-5 Texans. I got Texans. Who you got? Severe.
Yeah, I got Texans, man. They had a rough game last week against the Titans. Right, the Titans are a very good defensive team, and they had a little bit of rough go of it. But the Jaguars have all but given up on Doug Peterson, and they got Mac Jones starting at quarterback. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Texans.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Mike also went with the Texans all across the board, and we got Arizona and Minnesota.
This is gonna be a shocker to people probably, but I got the Cardinals on this. I think they're starting to kick on all cylinders. It's indoors. The Vikings, it's a trap game for them at 9-2. I mean, this win pretty much guarantees them, playoff picture, if you will. implications. So I see them losing.
So you got the Cardinals. And I know you're high on Kyle Murray, so he's having a.
I mean, I always have been. Yeah, now he's got weapons, and they starting to play. They starting to play.
Yeah,
the Cardinals starting to play.
Murray's having a solid year, man. He's having a good year. But Cardinals. I picked them last week, and they messed me up last week. So I'm going with the Vikings, man. I'm gonna be petty. I'm going Vikings this week.
I'm gonna roll with the Vikings as well. I mean, the Cardinals they lost a really rough game to the Seahawks. I think they only scored like 6 points.
Yeah.
And the Vikings have one of the better defenses in the league.
Flores, baby.
What happened?
Brian Flores.
Oh yeah, exactly. Brian Flores. He's a dog. Sam Darnold, we really don't trust him that much, but Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson, and Aaron Jones has been running the ball pretty well for them too. So I'm going to roll with the Vikings.
Ooh, man, ugly game of the week, man. Colts in at New England. I think every New England game is pretty ugly, but if you're asking me,
it is, man. It is. And the reason I'm going to pick the Patriots is because I think they'll have a fun time confusing the heck out of Richardson. So that's my 2 cents. And it's at home, right? Outdoors. The Colts play indoors.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold. So
yeah,
that's my guess. I mean, they both out of it. Technically, the Colts still possibly has a shot, but
right. I'm gonna go Colts. Colts had a tough game against the Lions last week, but that's the Lions.
Hey, so I will tell you this just before you pick. I want to make sure y'all know this little tidbit. I don't know if it still stands, but I know in the first 6 games or so, every team that played the Lions, regardless of if they won or lost, they didn't cover that next game.
Oh, wow.
Not saying they lost, but what I'm telling you is they didn't cover. And we all understand and know why, because that's the most physical team in football. It's by far the most physical team in football.
What's the spread? It's probably.
I have no idea, but
it's probably pretty close. It's
gonna be small. It's gonna be small.
Yeah.
Small. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that little tidbit when it comes to actual real betting out there, because that is a fact that they. Dude, you play the Lions. You hurt.
Probably like 3.5. I would assume 2.5, 3.5, somewhere in that range, like field goal game. Basically, it's gonna probably be based on the field goal. With that being said, man, the Patriots have been playing some better ball, but I'm gonna roll with the Colts, man. I think Anthony Richardson. He has, ever since his benching and his reemergence as a starter, he's been doing enough. He's been doing enough. He's looked all right. I want to say he forced overtime against somebody like last week, right? So I'm gonna roll with them. I think Jonathan Taylor as well. I think Jonathan Taylor, I think he's a good back. I'm gonna roll with the Colts, but yeah, the Patriots though, I can definitely see the Patriots winning.
The spread is 2.5. So
2.5. Okay.
Because you know what? Because even though the Patriots are 3-9, they've kind of been competitive, somewhat. Like I've seen
been balling, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So they've been in games. It's just that obviously they're a young team, rebuilding team. They don't know how to finish yet. But we'll see, man. That's definitely a game to keep an eye on. And I think Mike I think I can see Mike picking the Patriots on this one right here because he's been aggressive. Yep, he got the Patriots. He picked the Patriots. So we got the Jets and the Seahawks in the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium. Who you got there?
Gino going ham on the Jets. Gino this been marked on the calendar since Gino became a Seahawk. He knew this day was coming. He is about to light they behinds up.
Yeah, I'm going Seahawks too, man. I can't pick the Jets anymore. I've done it like once or twice. And I was like, you know what? I was hoping they were going to win some games. Maybe we get that third round, turn it to a second round. But this team is lost me early. So I got the Seahawks.
I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks as well. I mean, at this point, it's no way we're getting that second round pick. So there's no point even trying to root for it anymore. You're like, we ain't about to get that. We're not about to get it. So
or Devontae too, getting
exactly. Oh yeah,
all pro. You know what I mean?
It's not happening. You know, I think that like you said, Geno Smith, he has bad blood with the Jets. I think he wants some revenge, and I think I don't know if Tariq Woolen and then also Big Cat, right? Big Cat as well. Mm-hmm. Big Cat was over there with the Jets too for a little while, wasn't he? Yeah, he was drafted by the Jets, wasn't he? Leonard Williams.
Yep. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So he and then you got Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon outside at corner, locking up Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. So
good matchup. Yeah, Adams.
So I'm rolling with the Seahawks.
All right, Mike ended up going with the Jets, so he's picking another upset.
He's being super aggressive, man.
He's being super aggressive.
He either gonna have a hell of a week or he gonna have a hell of a week.
Not facts. We got Tennessee and the Commanders, Tennessee Titans and the Washington Commanders. Turf, who you got?
Yeah, Commanders at home. Commanders all day. Plus, they just came off a loss, right? So
tough loss too. Yeah,
they ready for some get back. The Titans are the right team for it, even though they have the top defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm going with the Commanders here. Severe, who you got?
I'm gonna roll with the Commanders as well. They coming off a tough loss. I think this last second loss. I think they want some get back. Plus Jaden is another SoCal quarterback. I think he wants to avenge the loss before his guy CJ Stroud. So I think have a little extra sauce on this game.
Mm-hmm. We got, let's see here. Next game here, we got the Bucks and Panthers. Who you got, Turf? Oh, did we lose Turf?
Bucks.
There we go. All right, we got them.
Bucks.
You got the Bucks?
Landslide. No, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool.
Bucks in the landslide.
He got another Jared Goff superior in Baker Mayfield.
Baker's playing some good football. He's playing some good football. But I don't know, man. I can't say that I could take him over Jared right now. But that's a whole different conversation. I got the Bucks too. Who you got, Severe?
Oh man. This is actually tough.
A trap game. It's a trap game.
This is tough for me, man. Just because Bryce Young has been playing well, man. Bryce Young has been playing some good football, man.
Playing good, yeah.
And then the Bucks are kind of injured too. Man. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks. It's just because off of the strength of Bucky Irving, but man, I'm tempted to go Panthers. I'm gonna go Bucks.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, just because Bryce has been balling, man. And Chuba Hubbard had a big game last week too, and they just locked him up long term.
It's crazy. Everybody was just talking all that trash about Bryce Young after a year after he got drafted. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to give people more time, especially quarterback.
Dave, man, he's the guy that reinvigorated Baker Mayfield last year with the Buccaneers, and now he's the head coach of the Panthers. He's a SoCal guy too. Matter of fact. So,
but that being said, Andy Dalton did get hurt. That was how Bryce kind of came on the field. It wasn't like, okay, Andy, go back to the bench. Let's get Bryce in here. You know what I mean? Did you learn your lesson? All right, cool. Let's get back to playing good football. That's not what happened. Andy Dalton kind of came on the field, but he's gonna get the credit. He's gonna get the credit for sure. That being said, let's move it along. We got the Rams and Saints. Turf, who you got? Oh, by the way, Mike picked the Bucks. He picked the Bucks. Go ahead,
mean, and this makes. I'm going with the Rams. I mean, I'm a Stafford fan. You know, they got to win this game. They can't afford to lose this game. They're indoors. Yeah.
Man, since the coaching change, man, the Saints have kind of been like a different team with Derek Carr playing a little bit well. I mean, I think MVS over there, Marcus Scantling over
Valdez
there.
Scantling.
Yeah, man, he's out there balling with Carr.
Yeah,
it's in the dome. Yeah, I'm gonna go Rams, man. Sean McVay's gonna have something cooked up. And you know, Stafford, I think, is undefeated against Derek Carr too. I think he's undefeated. Every time he's played, I think every time Derek Carr has played against Stafford at quarterback, he's lost. So we'll go Rams. Severe, who you got?
I'm gonna go Rams as well. I mean, Nakul is back, playing well. Kyron Williams, the dog. They have a very, very good pass rush. And the Rams, the Saints really, you know, with Shaheed out and Olave out, they really don't have a lot of weapons on the outside. Like Taysom Hill had a crazy. That's how they won their last game. Taysom Hill just went bananas. It's just like, you know, I don't think the Rams are going to allow that to happen. So I got the Rams. Stafford. Nakua goes for like a buck 40 and 2 tuds.
All right, and Mike ended up picking the Rams as well. Going on to next week or going to the next game, we got Eagles and Ravens. This is the battle of the birds.
Yes,
Turf.
That's an insane game.
This is gonna be a good.
This is an insane game. It's a pick'em game. It's apples to apples, man. I honestly don't know how to pick this game, but because the Ravens are at home, I'm going to pick the Ravens. I mean, that's really the only reason. I mean, they're both used to the weather. They're both, you know, very capable in every facet of the game, and their offenses are both potentially explosive to score 40. Who knows? Like, yeah, that's a tough game, man. I'll put it to you this way. I'm not picking any of that on any of my parlays. This game won't be in any of my parlays. No way. Nope.
Man. Yeah, it is a tough game, man. It can go either way.
Yeah, it's got to be Ravens. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, exactly. There's no wrong pick. And in fact, I would bet that, right, you know, the bookies, it's probably even. It's probably 50-50.
Right. And you know what? I'm going Ravens. I think they probably going to want it more because they need to win. It's very competitive AFC North. Eagles, I think, got the AFC or the NFC East wrapped up. Not to say that would mean anything to them. The better team will always win. But like you said, Turf, man, home team. I like Lamar better than Jalen. And I think Ravens win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. It's a tough game, though. You got two teams that are basically essentially Super Bowl. This could be like a Super Bowl, like, preview right here, right? Both of these teams could go to the Super Bowl. So I just think that the Ravens are on a mission this year. And all their losses outside of maybe the Steelers game have been to teams they probably like took lightly. Like they lost to us, they lost to the Browns. I think they lost to another team that they shouldn't have lost to. So, you know, it's when they have a opponent in front of them that they take seriously, they generally take care of business. I think they'll take care of business at home.
All right. And I think Mike also agreed with us. He's picking the Ravens as well. And we got the 49ers and Bills. Turf, who you got?
I got to take the Bills, man, even though the 49ers obviously are in a must-win. They can't lose. But they're in Buffalo, right? West Coast game, East Coast. Luckily for them, it's at least a 5:20 game. So at least they're, you know, it's a game that they're used to playing at that time. But I just think that between the weather and just a Bills Mafia. No way. Yeah.
So
they play up too. The Bills play up to their competition. You know what I mean? They always come to play when it's a team that they know could possibly.
They got some of the team. I think they probably feel like they're overlooked. You know what I mean? And they've been a team that's gone to the playoffs, that played in big games, and no one's really talking about them. So Bills for sure one of those. You could probably say is a dark horse team this year. But we won't know.
And they're the team that beat the Chiefs. They're the only team that beat
the Chiefs, man. Beat the Chiefs, and it's and you know what? We'll find out who. Usually, it's the hottest team going into the playoffs. Usually, that's the team that you'll know that will be there in the end, or at least win it or something like that. But yeah, I agree, man. I got the Bills. The 49ers don't look like the same team that they were in year past. Maybe due to injuries, they just don't look like that same dominant team. So I got the Bills in this one. Who you got, Severe?
Same. I got the Bills. I think, Josh Allen he's playing some really good football. Amari Cooper he's proved to be a very good weapon for him since coming over there from the Browns, man. And it was ironic. I forgot who it was that said it, but they said that Amari Cooper going to the Bills would be a bigger impact acquisition than Devontae going to the Jets, and it's proven to be the case. So I'm gonna roll with the Bills, man. I'm gonna roll with the Bills.
All right, and Mike is picking an upset here, man. He got the 49ers, man, winning it on the road on Sunday Night Football. Yeah. But is Purdy coming back this week? He was hurt last week. Is he coming back this week? That's another thing, too, as well for the 49ers. So if he is coming back this week, then maybe.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But we got Monday Night Football. We got the Browns and Broncos. Who you got, Turf?
It's another obvious one for me here. It's going to be the Broncos, but it's a trap game for them. And I could see Jameis eating W's. He might be ordering some more W's off Amazon, bro. He might be ordering some more dubs off of Amazon. Bro. So,
man.
But I'm going to go with the Donkeys. I'm going to go with the Donkeys. I have to.
Yeah, I'm going with Broncos. They're tough defense. Rookie quarterback is playing well. Sean Payton has them winning or playing well, good football right now. I got the Broncos. Who you got, Severe?
Yeah, man. I want to pick the Browns so bad. Just because my guy, Jameis, man. He ain't my favorite player, but he's my favorite player. He's not my favorite player, he's my favorite player. But
Right.
I just got to be real, man. Bo Nix has been playing good football. The Broncos have a heck of a defense. And, I think Pat Surtain is going to lock up Jerry Jeudy, man. So, and outside of that, in Njoku, they don't have a lot of weapons outside of Jeudy. So, I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
All right, man. Hey, look, I think that wraps it up. Mike ended up going with the Broncos as well. That wraps up NFL game picks this week. This has been a great show. We appreciate Turf coming through on Thanksgiving, man. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Thanksgiving. Turf, if you want to let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff. Turf, you still with us?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man.
All right.
The Ultimate Raiders. Yeah. I don't know why I keep coming in and out. Y'all hear?
Yeah,
I hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay, perfect. So, yeah, we got our Friday night show tomorrow, man. Turf and Rundown. It should go on forever. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna have a lot to say, especially right after the game, if you will. And believe it or not, I'm having a watch party. So I sold my ticket to go to the game. So I'm having a watch party. And we're gonna also have the Turf and Rundown show after that. So your boy is gonna be working triple overtime on Friday.
Man.
And just look out for all of the channels, man. Instagram, X, all of them, man. We post everything, and we trying to get y'all this content, man. And I'm having a blast doing it. So yeah, check us out.
Yeah, definitely check out Ultimate Raider Fan 32. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to head over there and subscribe to his channel. Follow him all over social media. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Around the Shield, we do this every Fridays. every Friday evenings. But this week we'll release it Thursday. We'll do it Thursday because the game is tomorrow. So just to give people some time to check out the show. Also, definitely check out the 50-50 show every week, every Tuesday evening nights, man. Hey, we do that with me and Severe. Great show. Definitely check it out. And just follow us all over social media, Around the Shield. Obviously myself, PharoahNFL. Y'all know it, man. Y'all see my name on the screen. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to check out, man, if you haven't already, man, cop your latest gear, man, at the 50-50 shop, man. Get your hoodies, shirts, everything, you name it, is on there. Make sure to check it out. Great way to support. And man, it's getting cold, man. So if you need a hoodie, man, just go ahead and just grab one. If you're not a hoodie person, you like shirts, man, we got shirts over there too, man. So definitely check out and get your latest gear over there at the 50-50 shop. The link will be in the bio and also in the chat. Severe, if you want to let the people know what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
I know what it is, man. The Severe Raider, YouTube, IG, Snapchat, X, TikTok, all that good stuff. Every Tuesday afternoon, my guy 805 and Chris from Protect the Shield. Every Tuesday night, of course, the 50-50 show. My brother PharoahNFL, and then Around the Shield, man. Usually, me, Pharaoh, and Big Mike, but hey, we got a guest this week. My OG Turf. One of the smoothest cats in Raider Nation, man. So make sure you guys haven't done so already. You guys get over to his channel and subscribe, man. Turf he's known for his sound effects, man. He be over there having a blast over here, man. The soundboard, man. So it's always a fun show, man. Always informative. So make sure you check him out. If you haven't done so already, Around the Shield on IG, for the latest and greatest Raiders news, rumors, memes, and also clips of the show too. So, and as Pharaoh already said, man, it's the holiday season. Get your family something they can be proud of. Something from the 50-50 shop. What else would it be?
There you go. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Any last thoughts before we head out?
Happy Thanksgiving, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holidays, man. I'm glad politics is over. You know what I mean? Let's get back to normal lives, man. And let's have fun, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody enjoy y'all Thanksgiving. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. We'll be back here next week. And the next time, make sure to check out Ultimate Raider Fan next week. Oh, wait, what was all that, man? I missed something. Look, I have everything figured out because earlier when you put the thumbs up, something pops up on the screen.
See?
Oh, that's you.
I'm on my Mac, bro.
Man,
I'm on my Mac, bro. So my Mac allows me to do things.
Man, hey, make sure to watch the watch party at Ultimate Raider Fan 32, man. Check them out. Tomorrow's game. Hopefully the Raiders put up a good show, but what's the saying go? SS
hashtag SS, baby.
Hashtag SS strategic. All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
7 and 3 baby.
Just win, baby. Hello. You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.